We are live. Is it just me, or is this a historic day because all the news is bearish? Really? It's either depressing or bearish, and I don't know if there's a difference. Now, here's the good news. The good news is we need crypto. You know who needs crypto? The Trump kids. We're going to go through the big, beautiful bill. We're going to go through AI. We're going to go through some cringe in crypto. There's a lot. And all I can say about all this cringe and all this negativity, it has to be a bottom. It has to be. Because this is the first time, I don't know in how long, me and the Eagle King would like get the news together and we're like, yeah, it's awful. It's so awful. Jokes aside, there are a lot of reasons to buy crypto here. And I think there are a lot of reasons to buy altcoins. And even though Bitcoin has the star narrative, Bitcoin on Joe Rogan, oh, hell no. Excuse me. Oh, no. That's worse than Michael Saylor on the cover of Forbes magazine. And you would think these guys would learn. Now, all that aside, we got some stuff going on with AI, this big, beautiful bill, and housing. We got to talk about that because all kidding aside, I mean, if there was ever a case for cryptocurrency, frankly, and privacy, which you'll never get me off these narratives, just like you never got Saylor off Bitcoin. You're never getting me off this whole privacy and figure out how to trade AI inside of crypto. Also, just while I'm throwing it all out there, you know, I have a colleague who has talked about DeFi and the banks, that the banks are going to come in and do DeFi. And, you know, that sounds great. And if you shook the financial foundation of the entire planet with something like the big, beautiful bill, people might go, you know what? This is not optional anymore. It's not optional anymore. Not for you, not for them, not for anybody, period. Okay, let's welcome who's here, and we'll go through the rationale. We will go through it all. Okay, we have Ben from Down Under. Sir, good evening. Zapetis, Zav, the Loyal Fighters, Blown Ideas, SG, the original, Arendown, Find Out Now 7. Mr. Lopez coming to us from Portugal. Sir, hello. Oh my God, Jelster, the sun is shining in the UK. Crypto Scam and Thomas Chai, what's up? What's up? Can you believe what's out there? Can you believe what's going on? I'm just going to get into it, and we can sit here and stare at it and go, wow, Bill, today you don't really have to yell at us about all the reasons why we need to be in crypto. So the Russians have officially launched Bitcoin futures trading. That's not a surprise at all. Corporations continue to buy relentlessly. This is being seen as some sort of euphoric entrance into Bitcoin. It may be, because as I said, at 77, it was toxic, but at 104, it's much more attractive. This is about the dollar, and I don't even have anything about the dollar today. And it's really just like, oh my God. Like you turn off the stream today and you're like, I ought to do something right now. Now. All right. So let's check it out. Okay. So we have Donnie T is having a tough time making a deal with communists. I think the whole definition of communists is got something to do with we don't make deals. we tell you how it is. And if you don't like it, well, yeah, turns out really bad for you. So again, this is their way of kind of backing out of all of this tariff stuff. They did it in 2017 and 2018. They're doing it again, right? As soon as tariffs come out of the headlines, crypto will be free to move higher. This is him trying to get it out of the headlines, right? It's like, we would like to destroy your economy, your manufacturing base, and your financial system. What? You don't want to make a deal about that? You don't want to get destroyed? Donnie T should get some advice about how, like, what kind of shape their economy is in. He's like, dude, I'll talk to you, but I'm not doing it. They can't. Now, this is how bad it is. So this is from the director of the Bureau. That's what us older guys call it, the Bureau. Apparently, they got somebody coming in who's, from Asia, this country in question. And they got themselves a little bit of a bug. And they're trying to bring a bug into the country, right? This is a fungus that, attacks crops, whatever. Is anything the truth? This is probably the truth, but I mean, are we in a simulation, right? This is how hard they're trying to back out of everything. It's like, oh, wow. Everyone's got a cough, cold, and flu. Look, we caught somebody with a bug. Are we supposed to buy into this? I mean, seriously, are we in a simulation? It feels like it. Okay. So, guys in the Middle East going, this thing that you won't let us have? Yeah, we already have it. Sorry. And this guy gets on Twitter and says, it's none of your business. And you know what? He might be right. The other country in the Middle East has had the bomb and us behind them, so they now have it. And we're going to end the world over this? I don't think so. Matter of fact, the one thing that these guys may be doing that sounds correct for now is that they're not going to fight these guys over this. This is the only thing that they're doing right now that makes some sense. Everything else, no, not really. Okay, so we got to talk about the big, beautiful bill now because this isn't funny anymore. It's not. Okay. These guys want to pump up the deficit, $2 trillion. Powell's been in his office. I continue to wonder what was said in there. Maybe Powell told him that if you pass this, I quit. You want me to quit? I'll quit. We can't handle this. So Bloomberg is out this morning saying, you can't add $2 trillion a year to the deficit without putting a huge burden on young people. And they have no say in the matter. Well, that's been true since I was a kid. Okay. We have a say in the matter. We just let it happen. Now we got to go to crypto. We have to. Look at this. Again, the big, beautiful bill, right? This has to be a negotiating tactic. This can't actually be what they want. Can't be. I swear. The scariest number is Section 899, where we can effectively introduce the most wide-ranging adverse changes to the tax treatment on foreign capital in the United States. That means we're telling people who invest here that our money is our money and your money is our money. Literally. So I guess you play ball with us or we get you to sell everything and buy your own native currency and crush the dollar. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, that's what would happen if they started taxing foreign capital. That's what would happen. They would sell whatever they have and they would just dump the dollar. So if they wanted to get the dollar lower, that's great. It's great for crypto. It's great for Bitcoin. It's great for gold, but I'm starting to wonder, I'm like, guys, there's a lot of other stuff going on here. So, you kind of flew off the handle with the tariffs. Are they going to fly off the handle with this? Now, if they do, you have to protect yourself with some form of crypto, I would think, because that's just an open season on fiat. I think. White House sends $9 billion in Doge cuts to Congress. as Elon loses his mind, right? Loses his mind. Elon Musk, I'm sorry, but I can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it. No, not always the biggest Elon fan in the world, but dude, the guy got in trouble at work. Elon effectively got written up by the Tesla board of directors, right, for going here, sleeping on the floor, wearing his red hat, running all over Washington, thinking he was going to run it like a business. And the next thing you know, they're kicking in the doors on Teslas and spray painting them, and he's out. And then everything he did is being unwound. All of it. With the orange man seemingly complicit. Guys like Rand Paul, I agree with Elon. And you know you're really in trouble when Chuck Schumer, who's probably going to lose his Senate seat to AOC, okay, he's like, I agree with Elon. So I don't know what they're doing, but if you're into cryptocurrency, privacy, you know, like when Trump was super popular, a part of me was like, wow, you know, I'm trying to sell a rebellion against the system when everyone loves the system now. I sold it anyway because, you know, I knew this was going to happen. I just didn't know it was going to be like, you know, this obvious, right? Like Elon ran around Washington for like, you know, 5 months, and then this is what they're going to do. That's crazy. I mean, with these numbers, they might as well have left Brandon in with the numbers that they're putting out. Again, Schumer. Now, again, okay, now everyone's, first it was recession. Now everyone's talking about, you know, bond market crisis. Okay, fine. That's great. You know, it's a guy's got to talk about something. I got to talk about something. The dollar, right? I mean, I know this is not happy, but folks, if you're long a dollar alternative, particularly something that hasn't rallied, everything has rallied except ETH, Solana, XRP. I say these things now, it's almost like I have to like cower in, like, hey, does anybody want to buy Solana? Remember back 5 months ago? Remember back January? It was like, oh my God, it's a super cycle. It's, you know, it's going to be like, you know, everything strategic reserve. Now you can't get anyone interested. This is why Satoshi wrote the white paper on steroids. Really. I mean, now they're embarrassing themselves. Like before you could say, okay, yeah, this is a little stupid, but they're going to have to back out all of this. There's no way they're going to put this through with Elon raging on Twitter. And I'm starting to wonder, it's so stupid that whether or not they actually put it out there so that they could like turn around and renegotiate something else. They just put the dumbest thing out there and they go, okay, we'll do it over. I hope so. Because if we really are that stupid, I actually feel sorry. Ready for this? I feel sorry for Besant and Jerome Powell if they're really serious about doing this. Like I don't know how you don't lose control. This is why these grumpy old men like Jamie Dimon and Ray Dalio are losing their mind, which is why I want to be like completely strapped in on crypto. Because there's no way to get away from this kind of news. I can't be like, well, you know, here's a bad thing, and then let's go to crypto. You can't get away from this anymore, which is why I think it could be a bottom, right? Everything is like, oh God, it's that bad. And the AI, the housing, and then the AI thing is worse. Okay. So home applications decline. 5-week low. There's no bid. Been saying this, there's absolutely no bid. None. Median age of a first-time home buyer. Okay, this goes up every day. Supposedly people my age are the only people buying new homes. Kids can't even get jobs and leave their house. I see kids walk into work at the grocery store across the street. They walk into work, they shop, they come home. You know how everyone's got their groceries in an SUV and some sort of image of America. I don't know. Kids with grocery bags. What are we going to do to save the kids? That's crypto. Yeah, that's what we're doing. I love this. I really do. The real estate skyscraper family, the guys who built all the hotels in Manhattan, Eric Trump on why Bitcoin is better than real estate. We found this morning, and I'm like, I was just. Now, we'll talk about this a little bit more later. But I think, believe it or not, you have to start listening to these kids. Here's why. One, they obviously have to know the math in Washington. I think Michael Saylor knows the math in Washington. They were the ones that told him about it. Remember that if you knew what I knew? They know how bad it is. And then there's another obvious point, which I don't think anyone talks about, right? What are these guys going to do in 4, 8, 12, and 24 years after the Orange Man? What, you don't think this whole thing can swing back to the left? They can't get Gensler out of an old age home or get somebody worse than Gensler and like debank these guys or whatever they're going to do. Whatever. They're getting ready now. That's why there's World Liberty. That's why they're at the conferences. It looks cheesy as all get out. Nobody, there's a lot of cringe. We're like, oh, okay, the president's kids are shilling crypto. Okay, yeah, there is a lot of cringe there, but they got debanked. Melania got debanked. Who debanks Melania? They debanked all of them just for sport. They're going to leave office and like, what? This is never going to happen again? We're going to have some kind of invisible halo shield around us and they can't get to us? No, of course not. They can't even get what they wanted to get done on the campaign trail. They can't get anything done. They're going in the opposite direction. It's like they got Autopen running back at Pennsylvania Avenue. And the kids are like, oh, okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to buy Bitcoin. Because if you bought houses, you bought wrong. You bought wrong. I mean, if you have a house and a mortgage, obviously that's wonderful. You have a house. That's great. But the thing is, if people have to sell all at once, there's no bid. It's the same in treasuries. I just think it's worse in housing. Like the Fed can print to buy the treasuries. Nobody's going to print to buy your house, to buy a house. If people get caught. I'm just saying, the kid is right. Everyone in 2021 sold Bitcoin and ETH to buy a house. Now you're going to have Bitcoin at a new high. ETH is going to go back to 4K. And you could have a 40% drop in housing just because. Really? Okay, artificial intelligence. Time to listen up, right? Big Beautiful Bill bans all 50 states from regulating AI for 10 years. We're not going to regulate AI for 10 years? Dude, in 10 years, we will be robots. They will have to give us cybernetics. So yeah, okay, well, we can't have any of this AI. Now that we're robots, we're going to outlaw it all. Grandpa Cyborg. No, stop. No more AI. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Right? The optics on this are horrible. That's the way I want to say it. The optics are horrible for them. For us, dude, the decentralized way of life. This is McAfee AI stuff, right? On YouTube. Guys looking better every day. Look at this character. AI won't automate tasks. It'll solve problems next year. So customer support goes this year. Trust and safety goes this year. What goes next year? Your executive teams, your project managers, and of course, this is the guy that's allegedly going to sell it all to you. They're not exactly financially stable, but anyway, right? Companies will throw massive amounts of computing problems at models to solve their problems. You could also see AI agents discovering new things. Any of these AI agents going to pop up in the crypto world? Anybody going to help you trade crypto, invest, do DeFi? Just that alone. The simplification of crypto investing through AI. These characters are doing it, and I can't believe we're not. I hope we do it, because these guys, I mean, what, nuclear power, actively, openly discussing labor market disruptions. They're going to, if they got to spend $2 trillion a year more than they take in, they might want to save that just in case this character is right. In the meantime, how many people we got on the stream, right? Where is everybody? Well, everyone's discouraged, depressed, and out, right? This feels like it was feeling like 2023 at one point. Now, don't laugh. In altcoins, it's actually starting to feel like 2019, where it's stupid. The prices are too low. It's going up, but you just have to wait. And the waiting is annoying. It's almost like again, what happened after FTX, right? It's like, okay. 6 months of listening to people tell me Bitcoin was going to 10K. When as soon as it went back above 20, it was gone. This is the same thing. The catalysts are everywhere. The news is terrible. It hurts to talk about it. WikiLeaks. So Palantir, some obscure little AI company, is now allegedly the surveillance state. This is like the new thing. The optics are they're horrible. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I have no idea if this is true, but the optics are absolutely terrible, right? This little startup, and because, the thing is, if the little startup, or not little startup, this little company has got all of the data and is like, again, like the, Asian surveillance state over there with the CCP, everyone's worried about Palantir. I'm wondering if this guy has the same contract and the same data. Well, this should not be a surprise. It shouldn't be. It's like, wow, I don't need privacy. Oh, wait, they've got all my data. Oh, they've had all my data. Oh, okay. Better get some crypto. Better get some Bitcoin. Better get a cold wallet. Better get something. Seriously. I don't mean that to be a jerk. Now when everyone's sleeping, get something. This kid, right now, this kid used to be considered the radical right in the United States. You could throw all kinds of names at this guy. You could. And you would probably be right. But the thing is, he's a savant. He's a genius. And he is now, I think he managed to change our Middle East policy because he's been criticizing it for so long. That's to put it lightly. And now he's on this Palantir thing, basically saying that the Doge team was nothing more than a bunch of guys who went in, found where all the numbers were, and then handed it all to Palantir, and Elon just was sent home. That's the narrative. I have, of course, the facts. What are the facts? You know what the facts are? That the sovereigns don't have your interest at heart. And if guys like this are right, if guys like this, this guy's like one level of serious above a guy like Alex J. Okay? They have control of the narrative. And these optics are horrible. It screams, get me out of the system. Antivirus on a 4-hour chart. 3 million market cap on this. 3 million. The second coming of John McAfee. God, I wish they could stick this McAfee chatbot into a robot operating system right now. Because what's going on, again, the optics, it sells itself. Now, transitioning from the oh my God, the Xanax news, now we have cringe. So I understand why they're involved in crypto. I get it. But dude, the Truth Social Bitcoin ETF? I mean, the guys at BlackRock must be sitting around the water cooler laughing, right? I mean, I don't know. We're going to have like the MAGA Bitcoin ETF. I don't know. Maybe it's going to work. I have no idea. I guess they got to turn Truth Social into something. They might as well stop calling it Truth Social and just merge it with World Liberty. Just merge it. Just have it be, the orange man's little micro strategy. This. Now, of course, I've always liked Joe. I liked him back when he was a UFC guy. Now there's all this pressure to get Michael Saylor on Joe Rogan. Did these guys not remember what happened when Michael Saylor changed the name of the company to Strategy, and their PR campaign was to put Michael Saylor on the cover of a magazine, at which point some of the smartest people I know sold and never came back. They were just like, this is a top, I'm done. They're going to do it. They're going to do it again with Joe Rogan. Now, look, I know he's got a huge audience. And for me personally, I would love to see Michael Saylor interviewed by a guy like Jordan Peterson, who's a psychologist. I would love to see that. Because, Saylor is just, Saylor has his argument down. But I would love to see Peterson actually look at Michael Saylor as a person and say, is this guy a genius or is this guy nuts? I personally think he's a genius because he's outside of finance. It's funny that there's only one guy, and he's outside of finance that understands what needs to happen to the dollar. Not because I'm big and mean or because I'm Jamie Dimon or Ray Dalio. It's just what has to happen. You cannot have $35 trillion in debt and have the currency not adjust. That's why housing is messed up. That's why they have to do tariffs. That's why all this stuff is happening. The dollar cannot adjust. The only way for it to adjust is through crypto. But I mean, can we stop the cringe? Can we stop the Truth Social ETF and Joe Rogan, please? Why are you making my life so hard? It's bad enough I have to talk about all that scary stuff and all the reasons why. I mean, everybody already knows that. The people who are listening to the stream, they all get it. It's like, so what do we got to do? We got to drive around. Like we got to have like an open top convertible or something with a microphone. It can be like, hey, everybody. Hey. 151,000 wallets now hold between 10 and 10,000 BTC. These wallets added 79,000 Bitcoin over the week. We're just going to buy all the Bitcoin that the Chinese are selling, right? That has to be the seller. That's the seller, right? They're going to sell Bitcoin to raise dollars, I guess. So we hear about how bullish it is, and we'll know when they're out. When the last seller has sold, it'll probably just go straight up. But in the meantime, they do what bull markets do, and they bore you out. And that's why this feels like 2019, because they bore you out. They did it in 2023 as well. This used to nauseate me. Now, like, what's better? 2023 or 2020 or 2019 or Pump.Fun? Let's go Pump.Fun. They want to do a $1 billion token sale at a $4 billion valuation. Well, boys, I hope that works for you. And it's a little late. I think it's a little late, right? You probably should have done this when it was meme coin crazy, but maybe now that they have a token, and I said this during meme coin craze, you should have to own and stake the token in order to launch on Pump.Fun. Like you can launch once, but if you want to like repeatedly launch, you have to own and stake the token. You have to be, it's effectively like verification that you're serious, right? So if you're going to be this like nonstop rug puller, no, you want to play on our exchange, you have to stake the token. That's it. That way, the little guy can launch once or twice. Everybody else, if you want to be a serial launcher, like the stuff that was going on where people were doing live streams and getting hurt. But I hope these guys make it, and I hope they open it all up. Okay, this is the not cringe part. You can't see the audio here, but this is Donnie T Jr. talking about how they got debanked. And there's something really important to remember about Donnie T Jr. and Melania getting debanked. They could do that to anybody that they wanted. Like if you connect this video, if I leave this video playing and you think about the big, beautiful bill insanity, the fact that, the Skynet guys, I don't know who I'm more scared of, Skynet itself or the guys that are building it and what they're actually trying to do. What are they trying to do? Well, I know they're trying to build the best thing that they can. Why? Because they want to, or because they have an agenda? I learned this in MBA school. Everybody has an agenda. It was in a list along with no one owes you a living. I don't care what you think. I want to see what the data is. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Okay. And always know the politics of the situation. Everybody has an agenda. What's your agenda? Okay, TA. Sorry, doing a little back to 2022 research. So what's happening? Nothing. Nothing. Everyone continues to fade Michael Saylor. I guess we'll know. We will. We'll know when they come back up and fill this gap, which they're doing. Right? So everyone wants to be short this stock, and we're going to find out. In the meantime, here's my idea. It's simple, right? Anytime they hit this thing, if you go back to 2023, to 2019, to all of these like complete dead boredom periods, even before the election, it was like this. You got paid to buy any chunky dip after a certain point. So it's like all coins are down 3 to 5%. Like that was your signal to move in. You got a payroll number on the 7th, and you got some GAN events in the middle of the month. I say if they want to hit this, take it from them. I say if you're involved in crypto, get more involved. If you're got friends who are not involved, the big, beautiful bill, the housing thing, and the AI thing, now would be a really good time to, final word, ready? Invest. It's not investment advice. It's an action plan for your life. We will see you tomorrow.